All right, you guys, so I'm going to share with you how to create a beautiful fall centerpiece DIY on a total budget. I know you're gonna love it. This centerpiece is inspired by one of the beautiful fall wreaths that I taught you how to make. Let's take a look. And here is the end result of this beautiful wreath DIY. You guys, look at all these beautiful florals. Well, starting with this gorgeous pumpkin, I just absolutely love the way it turned out. The ribbon with all of the glitter and the extra tails just makes it for a very beautiful wreath for fall. It is fresh and all of those ribbons catching the wind. It just is absolutely gorgeous. I really hope that you give it a try. Don't forget to put a little strip of ribbon on your wreath hanger so that it all ties in together. Okay, so that was the inspiration. I love the way the pumpkin colors with the beautiful pastel colors. It's a beautiful contrast. So that's what we're going to base ourselves by. So now, I always tell you, you have to start your wreaths by preparing it with the mechanics. And in this case, I want to cover some of my perimeter with this. So I'm gonna grab some 20 gauge wire. I'm gonna cut it into half and we're going to create some S hooks. Now you can also buy this at Hobby Lobby already made if you don't wanna take the time, but since I already have the wire, why not just do it ourselves? So basically just fold them in half, you create an S-shaped hook. Now that I have plenty of them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go around the perimeter of my container. And you know what, if you don't mind, I'm going to put a little cloth under my container because it's making that noise and it's kind of going to bother me. So I'm going to do this and that way we won't be hearing it all class long. Right, so now once again, I want to go around the perimeter and covering all of that foam, especially around the container, the rim of the container. We don't want to see that container, and the way you do it is you just gather and pinch and then you put your S hook right here. Okay, so I'm going to once again gather and pinch and put an S hook and just go around the perimeter, gather it like that, pinch, and especially in the corners like this right here, you want to make sure that you add a S hook like that. This one right here on the top doesn't matter if you don't cover all of it because we're going to put a large item in there, but I do want to make sure that all of this right here, like this right here, you gather and pinch and then you put an S hook through it, and that's going to hold your moss into place. Okay, so now that we have our mechanics finished, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a large pumpkin, that's going to be our centerpiece, and to insert it, I'm going to grab a wire and I'm gonna add it at an angle because I want my pumpkin to be at an angle. So I'm going to go like this. I want the pumpkin to be kind of cattywampus because I love the word cattywampus. All right, you guys, so I wanna say that if you don't follow us on our private group on Facebook, we are posting right now over 10 DIYs a month. It's called Ramon at Home Masterclass. 10 DIYs a month plus 4 live videos. It's a lot of work, but we're having a blast over at the masterclass. All right, so now I'm gonna grab some foliages, and shout out to Jameson, by the way, because he came up with this concept right here of our table, and I love it because I have all my materials. It looks so clean. You guys wanna say hi to Jameson? Come on over here. Come on over here. So he is our new CFO.
I'm back.
What do you have to say to the people?
We have so much going on. I'm so excited. I'm so happy we have a second table here too for all of our product. That way I don't have to be handing things left and right. So,
correct.
Let's go, rock and roll.
Thank you so much. There's Jameson. A lot of you have been asking, where's Jameson? Here's Jameson. He's been busy coming up with these ideas for content, especially for the holiday season. All right, so now I want to show you a trick. If you have a stem like this and if you don't have a pick machine, what you need to do is like squirt, and then you're going to twist. And then you basically just pull this out, this little plastic out, and you're going to be left with the wire that is inside. So it's a sharper wire and you can really use to poke into your arrangement. So we're gonna start right here on the top to kind of balance my pumpkin. And then I'm gonna grab some of the longer ones because I want this to really be very large. So remember, what happens on the right happens on the left. So immediately when you do something on the right, you're gonna come over to the other side and then you're going to poke to the left, and that's what's going to create our balance and then also our width. And so now I'm going to go right here and poke because we went to our right and we have to poke on the left. And so now I'm going to continue to do around the perimeter, and the way to do that is just by adding around the pumpkin first. And since we already determined our width, What we need to do is replicate on both of the other corners. So I'm gonna grab 2 of the larger ones. Oh, look how fancy, I feel fancy having all of these right here. Now remember, when you're inserting your foliages, remember to give them a little bit of a twist, because that's what's gonna get all of that money-making feeling to it. So see how this is how large our centerpiece just got? Okay, you guys, so I just wanted to share real quick. So this is what it looks like when you pull out the plastic part of it. And what that does is it just makes it really easy for insertion, and it really is comfortable to insert when you peel it. And so now that we have that insert, remember, all you have to do is go around with your little wire cutters right here, go around and twist it and pull it out. And that's going to leave you with that exposed wire. Like I said, that is a great trick to know if you don't have a pick machine, because it really exposes that wire and it makes it so easy to go ahead and insert. So okay, so I'm gonna add just a few more right here. And remember, what happens on the right happens on the left. So we have to make sure that we have this oak all the way around the perimeter. By the way, you guys, this oak is from David Christopher's. If you shop davidchristopher's.com, remember you get 10% off your order by shopping their website. And no, this is not sponsored, but they're just my friends and they own that business, and I just like to support my friends. You know, David and Jen are really good people and I just love them. So if you don't know them, they're also here on YouTube, so go give them a follow and shop their online shop and get 10% off. Okay, so the next thing we're going to add is going to be some of this beautiful fern that I love. I love asparagus fern. And because look how dainty this is. This is absolutely gorgeous, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of this as a flyaway. And look at that. It just creates so much texture. And so we're going to go up and then we're going to go down right here. And we're gonna have to make sure that it really goes into the foam. And so I'm going to repeat right here. I'm gonna go up and then I'm gonna let it dance, and then I'm going to make it long right here by adding some beautiful long pieces, and I'm going to bring it over to this side to add yet another one over here. Remember, what goes up must come down, so we have to make sure that we have the same textures all throughout the arrangement, and that's what's going to make your arrangement absolutely sing. And this is just a little touch, like I said, to create more movement on your centerpiece. And so I'm going to continue to spin around to see where it is that I need some of this asparagus fern. And let me tell you a secret. When I worked as a florist, asparagus fern was one of my favorite textures to work with. However, it's very prickly fresh. Actually, it is prickly faux too, but it is really prickly fresh, and it's just really hard to work with it. But the end result is just absolutely stunning. All right, so now that I'm done with this beautiful fern, I'm gonna put the rest of it. Remember, I always like to save some towards the end, so that way I can fill in the gaps. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the florals. This is what it looks like so far. And the way I'm going to do is I want to add sets of 3s, 2s, and 1s. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to add one right here. That's going to help us cover the void. Now remember that we always add sets of 3s, 2s, and 1s. And so the way we do that is in a triangle. Remember also the triangles are the most pleasing shape to the eye in design. So that's why we want to add this triangle right here. And once we have our triangle, we're going to spin it around. We're going to give it a little bit of fluff. And then we're going to do a set of 2 on the other side. Why? Because what happens on the right happens on the left, but it doesn't have to really be the exact same number, and you'll see why. So we're going to add a set of 2 right here. Look how pretty this looks, you guys. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love this so far. Okay, so now, but what about these 2 sides, right? Well, what we're going to do is we're going to add a cluster of 2 right here. And for this occasion, I chose this beautiful, almost like a pastel flower, because I love the combination of pastels with the fall colors. It just serves as a highlighter. It makes your arrangement even more beautiful. And look at the way we're going to add this right here. So we added a cabbage rose and then just a garden rose, and we're going to spin around all the way over here, and we're going to repeat our matter, and that's what's going to bring all of the texture to our arrangement. So once again, because this happened on my right, it has to happen on my left, and the way we do that is by spinning about 180 degrees on an angle. So that way we're going to have both roses. Look at this. So you have cluster of sunflowers over here, clusters of sunflowers over here, then we spin around, and so now we have a cluster of roses over here and a cluster of roses over on this side. Okay, so moving on. So we're going to add also some of this beautiful flower that I am obsessed with. You guys, this is from the at-home store, and I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't even know what the name of it is. I bought like 3 stems of it last year, and I really wish that they had it this year. They did not. Well, probably because when we went to at-home, funny story, we drove, it's about an hour and a half. We drove all the way over there and they didn't have any fall. So we had to drive back with our empty hands, but we'll go back. So once again, I squirted it and I put that, exposed that because I really wanted to poke out. And so the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to continue to cluster over on this side some of these florals, and that's going to create like a little bouquet of flowers. And so I'm going to do the exact same thing that I did over here. Now I have to come over to this side and replicate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add one right here. So we added 3, and remember once again, the triangle, it's the best or the most pleasing shape to the eye. So we're going to do some like that. And then I'm going to add another one right here. And look at that, that just created that little cluster right here. And I also love the way this looks. Once again, by adding just some of this to the ends, that we're going to what I call cap it. So we're gonna create like a cap, because we have to have this floral all throughout our arrangement. And once again, just spin around and bring the other side like that. Now I have 2, and I think I want to put them, I'm gonna show you a trick. I'm full of tricks. So I'm going to grab one of these stems right here. And well, I'm gonna grab another one because that one just fell. But I'm gonna grab one of these stems, and then I'm going to grab a wire, and I'm going to wire this together like this, just by swirling a wire down like that. And I want this flower kind of like this over here. So we're gonna insert an angle. Look at that, right next to our pumpkin. It looks so pretty. And I feel like I need another one right here. So we're going to, I'm gonna have to go down, pick up the one that I laid down. So I'm going to cut maybe about that much, probably about half. And then I'm going to grab a wire, and look, I already have one right here. So all I have to do is unwind it. And you guys, don't be afraid to recycle your materials. I'm always telling you that because everything adds to the price of what we're doing. And so if you can just recycle your wires, your stems and everything, well, go for it. So I'm gonna add another one right about here. See, and this brings it up in the air, and it looks just absolutely beautiful. All right, so Ramon, what do we do with the gaps? Well, I'm going to share with you, I'm going to add some pumpkins, and the way we're going to do that is we're gonna grab some of this wire once again, and we're going to poke at an angle on my styrofoam container, and I'm going to see where do I need some coverage, and I wanna say right about here. And see how by adding this pumpkin right here, it also adds so much texture. So I'm gonna spin around, and I'm going to add yet another one right here. And so the way I'm going to do that is by grabbing a pumpkin, and I'm going to grab another one of those exposed wire stems. I'm going to poke through my pumpkin at an angle, and then I'm going to go right here and insert, going all the way down into my arrangement and create more of a cluster. So now that we have our pumpkins in, what I want to do is start to add our flyaways, because if you know me, you know that I will never send out an arrangement without flyaways. And for that, I gathered some of this right here. So I'm going to add, once again, that pastel color. And remember that what goes up must come down. And at this point, remember that our flyaways, we break the rules. So we just go, the only rule that we remember is what goes up must come down. So we have to have some of this beautiful element all throughout. And your flyaways is the perfect way to start to fill in all of those gaps, because it really does allow you to extend that arrangement. And so I'm going to go over this way. Remember, we have to have it all throughout our container. Let's see, what else do I have? What else do I have? Okay, so far so good. One more flyaway, which I think is my favorite and what is really going to add some beautiful texture, and it's going to be this gorgeous David Christopher foliage, and I just absolutely love it. Now, I was telling you the last time that what you need to do is grab it as a pencil, and then why? Because that way, when the stem is so thin, it might break. If you grab from here, you're gonna bend it. But when you grab it low, and then you go down to your foam, look for the foam, and insert, and start inserting, just pushing. Look at that. It's so easy. So remember to grab your flower like a pencil. So I'm gonna go over to this side. And remember, this is a flyaway. So what we need to do is just insert this flower all throughout our arrangement to create more texture up and down. The only rule that we have to follow when it comes down to our flyaways is that it needs to go up and down. What goes up must come down. We'll spin around, and then we'll continue to spin around, and we just grab some of this eucalyptus, like so, right here. And then we go down one more time. Don't you just love these fall colors? They're absolutely gorgeous. This reminds me of like an autumn dinner. Like I would just love to serve some Merlot wine because of the color on the eucalyptus at a dinner party. Okay, so let's see. I love it. Let me see, where do I need? I feel like I need some eucalyptus over on this side, like that. And don't forget to add some also right here on the top to kind of fill in. Okay, you guys, so I just have a few more pumpkins I'm going to add. I'm gonna give it a fluff and show you the end result. Keep watching. Isn't this gorgeous, you guys, for your coffee table, your entryway table, your dining table? It is so easy to make, and look how much texture for fall this will give you. Remember, when you're inserting thinner stems, grab them like a pencil. Don't forget to break the rules with the flyaways. Just remember that what goes up must come down, and just let your eye dictate. And when you are clustering flowers, you can use elements like your pumpkins to fill in and create bigger clusters. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this DIY, and if you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and share with your friends, and don't forget to follow us on our masterclass on Facebook. Remember, it's over 10 DIYs a month. It is so much fun. We're having a blast, especially for Christmas in July. Thank you so much for watching. Consider subscribing, and until next time, you can watch more videos right now. Bye.